I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. I want the perfect body. Want a perfect soul. And I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so very special. Yeah, I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm
healing, which is a blessing. And yeah, we just know our dad better than anyone else. And we know he was not involved in our mom's disappearance.
Mallory and Macy Morphew, standing by their father, who investigators believed was responsible for their mother's disappearance 2 years ago. The three, seen walking out of court arm in arm just moments after the charges against him were dropped.
We want to heal. We feel like we haven't been able to heal these past 2 years.
The family says Suzanne left her Colorado home for a bike ride, but never returned.
I just love my girls. And I love my wife. And I just want her to be found.
But investigators told a different story, arresting Barry Morphew. The charges ranging from first-degree murder to tampering with physical evidence. Prosecutors argued that Morphew discovered his wife was having an affair, then murdered her, disposed of her body, and staged a bike crash in a rural area. Releasing this body camera footage from the hours after she was reported missing, police say Morphew touched evidence.
Can you not touch that bike with your hands, please?
Morphew's daughters say he isn't a killer and are celebrating the dismissal of the case, now demanding District Attorney Linda Stanley should do more.
I just hope that Linda will step up to the plate and do everything she can to find our mom. Because what they've done is not fair. And we're never going to stop looking for our mom.
Court filings say that while authorities are close to discovering Suzanne's body, weather has complicated the efforts. The location where Suzanne's body is believed to be has 5 feet of snow concealing it. But the family's attorney says authorities have mishandled the case and are planning to file a complaint against the DA.
And if you want to honor Suzanne and you want to honor the daughters, go find Suzanne.
The DA's office telling ABC News they and law enforcement have been diligently searching for Suzanne Morphew since she was reported missing, and that they are continuing to do so.
Prosecutors need to be held responsible, and they need to pay for the damage they've caused to Barry, which is frankly nearly irreparable, because it's hard for anybody to believe that Barry is not who they claim he was.
Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of your wife?
Absolutely not. It's very hurtful to lose your reputation and your integrity.
Barry filing a $15 million civil suit against prosecutors, the sheriff, and several investigators.
So I know that 15 million is a huge number, but I don't think that, in my mind, that covers any of the damage that's happened to Barry and the girls.
They know he's innocent, and if they would just look for Suzanne outside of where they hypothesize Barry could have possibly buried her remains, they could find her.
His daughter's standing by him.
You never had a shred of doubt once you heard the evidence from law enforcement against your dad?
I've never had a shred of doubt. Not one.
Prosecutors say at the time they believed that they were close to finding Suzanne's body and dropped those charges against Barry, hoping for additional evidence. Authorities tell ABC News they still believe Barry Morphew could be involved in his wife's disappearance and aren't ruling out future charges.
Law enforcement and the DAs believed they had their guy, and they believe that there's a mountain of evidence against you. There's just not Suzanne's body.
They're wrong. They've got tunnel vision. And they looked at one person, and they've got too much pride to say they're wrong and look somewhere else.
These charges were dropped without prejudice, which means if authorities feel like there's more evidence, they can charge you again. Do you live with fear of that?
Well, I was innocent the first time they arrested me, so I'm sure it's possible.
Do you think
But
finding the body
I don't have anything
results in him getting charged
to worry
again?
about? I've done nothing wrong.
Yes. Was there any
What's the most
indication before she
important
disappeared
aspect of this investigation?
that something was amiss?
No.
Did you observe any fights, arguments, disagreements between your mom and your dad that concerned you before?
No.
Prosecutors offering text.
Investigators found Morphew's remains near the town of Morphew, 30 minutes south of Salida.
Just before she disappeared, telling Barry, "I'm done."
Complaint against the DA. And if you want to honor Suzanne and you want to honor the daughters, go find Suzanne. The DA's office
They're drugs that
telling
would usually be
ABC
used to
News
tranquilize
they
animals.
and law enforcement have been diligently searching for Suzanne Morphew since
Shot
she
her
was
with a
reported
tranquilizer
missing,
before killing her.
and that they are continuing to do so.
Barry Morphew was arrested in 2021 while his wife was still missing. Then the murder charges against him were dropped just days before the case was set to go to trial. At this point, Barry is a free man.
To Barry, which is frankly nearly irreparable, because it's hard for anybody to believe that Barry is
He's not facing any charges. The autopsy report confirms that Suzanne was found with her bike clothing in a shallow grave in Saguache County.
Disappearance of your wife.
Investigators believe that she went on a bike ride on Mother's Day 2020 and never returned.
Reputation and integrity. Barry filing a $15 million civil suit against prosecutors, the sheriff, and several investigators.
This morning, they're defending him, saying he's innocent, arguing that anyone could have shot her with a tranquilizer.
But I don't think that, in my mind, that covers any of the damage that's happened to Barry and the girls. I know he's innocent.
Got up the morning of Mother's Day, had her cup of coffee. That is now confirmed with the autopsy report.
For Suzanne outside of where they hypothesize Barry could have possibly buried her remains.
Also confirmed with the autopsy report was that she put on her bike clothes.
His daughter
and we know where the bike was
by
found.
him.
So she was on a bike
never
ride
had
and
a
abducted.
shred of
The
doubt
tranquilizer that was
once
found
you
in her
heard the
bones,
evidence
allegedly.
from law enforcement against your dad. I've never had a shred of doubt. Not one. Prosecutors say at the time they believed that they were close to finding Suzanne's body and dropped those charges against Barry, hoping for additional
Barry's attorney
evidence.
also tells us that a bullet was
Authorities
found
tell
in a shallow
ABC
grave near the
News
town of
they
Moffett.
still believe Barry could be involved in his wife's disappearance and aren't ruling out future charges. Law enforcement and DAs believed they had their guy, and they believe that there's a mountain of evidence against you. There's just not Suzanne's body.
They've got tunnel vision, and they looked at one person, and they've got too much pride to say they're wrong and look somewhere else.
These charges were dropped without prejudice, which means if authorities feel like there's more evidence, they can charge you again. Do you live with fear of that?
Well, I was innocent the first time they arrested me, so I'm sure it's possible. But I don't have anything to worry about. I've done nothing wrong.
Was there any indication before she disappeared that something was amiss?
No.
Did you observe any fights, arguments, disagreements between your mom and your dad that concerned you before?
No.
Prosecutors offering texts which appear to show a strained marriage. Suzanne referring to Barry as Jekyll and Hyde, and just before she disappeared telling Barry, "I'm done."